Are you a real estate investor looking to sharpen your skills or a newbie looking to become one? You're in the right place. Welcome to Where Should I Invest? Real Estate Investing in Canada with your host, Sarah Larby.
Anash, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Sarah. Pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So you're doing a lot of work for us for our midterm rental properties website with all the listings. But before we get into all of that good stuff, maybe share a little bit of who you are and what you do, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. So I'm Anash. I own multiple businesses in real estate, related to real estate. First one is definitely Haletale, where we build custom branded property management software for mid-sized to large-sized property management companies, investment groups, or real estate professionals who's trying to build a community in real estate. We build customized software for them for their growth in the portfolio. Also, we work closely with a lot of investors in the short term in my other business. But with Haletale, we're right now all over Canada right now. We're having customers and we're getting our first customer, a few customers in US coming up soon as well. So very excited about the growth that we're getting into, and very, very keen that we're able to bring in value to a lot of people who's looking to grow in real estate. My other business is a property management business that we do in GTA, and we also do a property maintenance and cleaning, painting, moving search inspection that we currently do all over Ontario. I'm looking to scale all over Canada, but that's essentially my first business I started, which helps me to got into the real estate and started from there. And my other business actually came from all the learnings I took from this business, and I understood the market requirement and then grow into my Haletale. So that's in a very, very nutshell that what I am doing today.
All right, very cool. Now, are you also a real estate investor? Are you investing yourself in deals?
I'm very open to investing right now. So I bought my first house where I was when I was moved to Canada. I got my first job, and then starting two companies at the same time was definitely an investment for me. So that took a lot of time on me. Now I am definitely testing my waters in commercial investments. So that's where I am, and it's a learning for sure. And a lot of people actually, I think, when it comes to commercial, want to do it, but then they back out because they think it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. So I think one of the biggest thing is that when I come to events where like midterm rental events or any other events I go to, I meet a lot of lenders or people who have done it, and speak to them, get a lot of understanding, and waiting for the right opportunity to step in. Maybe as a we're trying to get in part of a syndicate or whatever it is, but then get my hands on so that get going. And now it's the time that I want to get to real estate and keep growing from there. And I obviously help a lot of people to grow their portfolio. I want to grow from the side as well. So it makes total sense to do it.
Amazing. So you're in the active real estate business with active businesses such as Haletale. Can I ask how long you've been in Canada for? How long has it been now?
I've moved to Canada in 2014. So that's when I moved. I moved to Montreal for my master's. My background is very different. I used to build airplanes in the past. Wow. And from there, I've did my full-time job, and I always knew that I want to get into business because my dad, from what I remember, have always been a business person. I like the flexibility. I like to be my own boss. So as an immigrant, you always wanted to have that first step, get to PR. That's your first hurdle that you want to pass. So I still have a passion in aerospace too. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't have a business in that in future. But while I was doing my full-time job, we started helping a lot of people finding rentals, etc. That was my initial step in real estate. And from there, it got to a property management company. And then from there, while we scaled operations, obviously you can relate to it. While you have a lot of properties, how the management and what happens, you end up living inside the business, not on top of a business. And that's where the Inception of Haletale came in, where we understood I was looking for really a solution where it helps me to scale my business faster, because I did not know where I'm losing money, where I'm making money. I know that I'm making money, but I don't know where I'm losing money, etc. Or am I really making money? So that's essentially, from the start to where I am today.
All right, very cool. I love entrepreneurship. I believe, you know, we're serial entrepreneurs, many of us, even real estate investors, right? That's still a business, and it's still thinking outside the box. You know, you're not an employee, you're creating something, which is awesome. You know, but now you've got an active business. Midterm Rental Properties is an active business. Inspire Beach Resort, which is my little boutique resort, is an active business. Still in the real estate realm, but you know, there's other parts and components to it. And there's other challenges, right? So what are some of the, you know, the challenges that you said, you know, maybe somebody on, you know, listening to this could hear and maybe learn from, as you were going from being an employee and working for someone else to working for yourself and building businesses and companies? What are some of the challenges that you faced, and what advice can you provide?
Yeah. So I think I have a business gene inside me. So always getting into business was the thing for me. But when I started Haletale, it's a software business. It's a technical tech business, and I had no experience in tech. And that itself stops a lot of people. Like, I have no experience. I might be a business, but do I want to get a tech business? I don't know how to grow and scale that. My number one advice that it is some one mistake that I've always been doing. Like, I aim for perfection right in the beginning, which would stop you or slow you down. It's not going to get you anywhere. So I would say, start crappy. Start doing things and then improve from there. If you just start trying to look for perfection, it's only going to slow you, and it's not going to get you anywhere. So that's what the number one thing I would do. And I can tell for a lot of people that I know and within my network, it's going to be, you know, there are people who move here, they have that initial hurdle and they cannot, you know, go further from there, right? So sorry about that. House coming in the way. But you know, for them, that getting an initial getting the initial step to have that stability in the country that recently moved to is the first step, and then comes to the next business side, and then how to scale it. So it's a journey I can relate to with a lot of people.
For sure. So just going and then adapting as you go along, not being a perfectionist. But there's lots of moving parts, right? Because then you have, like, how do you take, because I think many people here have an idea and they want to find ways to make more cash flow. They want to find ways to make more money. They maybe, you know, have a handful of real estate deals already done, but they want to create additional cash flow. You know, what are some of the things that, like, somebody needs to be mindful of? Like, what are the different parts of your business that you had to pay attention to? I'm thinking, like, there's marketing and sales, there's, you know, the whole tech piece. Like, you know, walk us through some of what you went through as you were really building this company.
Yeah. So some of the initial first thing that when I started doing was, you know, one of the things when we built the software, we didn't know where to start, and we started outsourcing it. And I think we need to learn some basics of it before you get into something, so that you have a control of the command of things that you're doing. May that be marketing, may that be tech, may that be anything. So if you can do it and prove it in a certain level, first of all, and then if you tell some other person that, okay, this is what I want, but I want it to be better. When you hire someone, you always want to be someone who is better than you, not you know, worse than you, right? I always look for people in my team. I always look for people who's smarter than me rather than who's similar to me. Because if I can be just me, I don't want to duplicate myself. Is what I think it's a key thing to improve your productivity. And improving your productivity, what happens is that you free up a lot of time. And that's something which I was talking to you the other day too. Like, how can I free up my time? Because my time is all over the place. Having a good schedule, good calendar, good command over your time would definitely help you to think, what can I do better rather than just running the same way. And I was doing that later last year. Like, how can I take a step back? And things are going well right now, but I need to improve my cash flow. I need to improve my productivity. I need to grow faster. What do I need to do? For that, I need time. And that's why I'm starting thinking backwards. Okay, this is what I need to clear my time. And I think for me, it has been a game changer for me, and focusing on myself. I would say a lot of people get busy with business, and we forget about ourselves. We forget about our mental health and are you taking care of yourself? Are you working out? Are you taking time to disconnect, be happy with your family, etc.? Altogether, it really helps in how your productivity improves, according to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did you also hire staff delegate and hire and to help you with additional time and just focusing on you and on the business, I'm sure, as well, rather than being so in the business. You know, what types of roles do you have on your team if you have, unless it's you and Roshan, your business partner, doing everything?
No, we have a team of 10 so far, actually 10, and we have a bunch of interns. Every single person that is in the team that we have, we almost start with an internship level. That's a good way to get to know who you're working with, what your capabilities are. Are they being proactive? Do they just do what you tell, or do you do one step ahead of us? And those are the kind of people that you always want to start with. So that's what we look for. I work with a lot of students here in Ontario or BC through a program called Ripen. It's a great platform for entrepreneurs to get people. And then once we know that they're not people who think, okay, I'm not just here to do 9 to 5 to do this particular job, but I can do other things, I can explore. That mindset is I kind of invest in, and then we kind of go from there. So we have, to answer your question, very straightforward. We have tech team, we have people in marketing. I'm trying to build a sales team around me as well, because it's time that we want to grow that way too. So that's where we are right now.
And you mentioned Ripen, and I want to add to that because we learned about Ripen from you and Roshan. And it's spelled, and guys, take note of this. You will want to know about this. It's R-I, 2 I's. So R-I-I-P-E-N. And you essentially can get students to do I believe it's 80 hours. The government, we don't utilize the government very often because we're real estate investors and we're obviously not living off the government. But I would say there are some decent programs that we can actually utilize. And one of those is exactly what you said is Ripen, because these are university students that the government actually pays for, and you can get them in blocks of 80. And I believe it's 20 a year. So if you're incorporated, so it's like, essentially it's like free labor. So you can have somebody that focuses on the social media. And then once those 80 hours are done, they can, I believe like you have them reapply, or you can find somebody else. Yes. You can have one person to do this is all virtual stuff. So whatever you would need virtually, that a student can potentially do, you can have 20 of them instead of having a VA. Like, why not?
It's different ways. So, let's say you have a business here which is related to university or colleges you want to sell. You can have a free campus ambassador there. But I got to tell you, it's not valid for real estate agents or brokers. It's for any businesses, any small business. It works. But we're a company that kind of utilizes to its best of it. And I've spoken to the company CEO himself, because he knows we're one of the companies who utilize that service quite a lot. Nice. And he appreciates it. And there's multiple programs under it too, which and it's a great thing for students too. Like when I was a student, I could tell it was so hard to get the workforce with no local experience in the country. And it's a great opportunity for the students to have their step in the door of a corporate company, and then kind of grow from that real experience.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is they're building real experience before they actually get a real full-time job while they're still in school. So I think we have 5 or 6 right now for midterm rental properties already. Great. So our staff has staff. And I'm actively recruiting as well for the resort. So I'm going to have somebody to do some of the social media, somebody, like, it could literally be like, you could really think of anything that you could do online that, you're able to just pass off, because it could be some, and you can work on the business, then why not? And I believe they pay, is it $1,800 or something for the 80
$1,400 for 80 hours. Yes.
So the government pays them directly.
Once we approve them and we're satisfied with the project, that's when they get paid. But I should also tell you, there's some people who's trying to milk the system too. But then I'm very mindful, because my thing is that if a student is coming in, they should do the work. They should be learning something new, and they should be committed. And if that's that, I 100% support them. If not, we got to be responsible too, because the government is trusting us for giving away that money.
Of course. And is it a rolling 12 months? Like the January, does it start again, or is it like
they have certain seasons. I think their hiring stops at end of March, and then they probably open up again in spring, something like that. So they have all things going on all the time. But so I would highly recommend that business or that Ripen website to any business out there who's looking to have some extra help, or VA, or you can be creative. However you can be creative, you can be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like content creation or, like social media is one thing, but it could really be, just helping with like admin stuff and maybe some of the, simple bookkeeping tasks or, some stuff like
Yeah,
that. So like
yeah.
there's tons of opportunity, but I want to say like it's for businesses. So like, not realtors, like you said, right? And it has to be actual companies that are incorporated.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like except realtors, any incorporated company. I think the process is first thing you apply as a company to them, they approve you, then you create the job postings and you start looking for people. And you can get into short calls, talk to people. I sometimes do group calls with a bunch of students when there's multiple responses, and we do kind of a Q&A session there and find the smart ones out there, and then go from there. So
Oh, nice.
different ways. Yeah.
Doing it and saving your time by putting everybody into like a group
But
interview.
yeah, no matter how short you want to keep it, every call will probably in the 20 minutes. And if you want to do it five people, that's 3 hours of your day. It's gone. So yeah.
All right. No, that's good. I mean, look, that's a great resource. Like we just learned about it, like I mentioned, and we've already got, a handful of them on our teams, and I'm adding more on the other business. So
I'm
very,
glad
very
using that.
cool. And also like if you like them, or if you know a student and they are in school in a program that's, I believe it was just a registered college or university.
Come again?
It's a registered college or university that they can get approval for, or there are specific ones.
They have different programs, I think, based on the university, based on if they're an international student, they have a different program. If they have a local student, they have different programs based on that. So, but if you're a student, I keep telling them to, if you are looking for experience, go for that.
Mhm.
And it would help companies too. Like everyone who wanted, they probably want to hire someone, but they might be in a cash crunch not to give an opportunity. So this is a win-win for both sides.
Definitely is. And you can keep rehiring them, right? If they're good and you want to keep them.
Good. Yeah,
Very
100%.
cool. Awesome. So talk to us about Haletale. Like, how did that come around? How did you decide to create that specific business, and what does it do, and how do you help?
Yeah, so like the inception of Haletale really starts from my own first business, really, because it was a property management business where we were managing both short-term and long-term. And at that time, we were also involved in a lot of co-living model. That means room rental model in different areas as well. So when we got to quite a decent size of portfolio, it was so hard for us to understand where our business is heading to, directing to. We knew when we look at the overall, we use Wave, for example, as our accounting software, but that would only give me an idea about as a portfolio, as the end of the financial year, I'm making this money, I'm losing this money. But I know that all my properties have 0 vacancy rate or 90% vacancy rate, etc. But where am I losing money? Am I spending a lot of extra money? Then am I not charging the homeowners enough money of the maintenance work that we're doing? So we had no control like that. And initially, we went to a few other softwares that's available out there, but did not work really for our model that we do. Because I feel like every business has a unique way of operating the business. May that be, even if you call it property management business, is a very unique way of managing business. And that was exactly the use case with it. So, the engineer inside me and Roshan came out and we started developing something very simple. Like, instead of Excel sheets, we started into something called Airtable, where we started creating forms and started automating one by one. And we always had a real-time example right in front of us, which is our own business, to test it. Before we sold it to anyone else, we tested on our own business. How much time does it save in a week for us? How much money does it really understand? Okay, now it works. Now let's implement on 2 properties. Now implement on 10 properties, 20 properties, etc. So eventually we understood started making sense. And then we also, we started with the marketplace model as well, because since we were heavily involved in that, where we should be able to rent out houses and get different people to form as a group and apply in a property, etc. Because that was our biggest use case. So that's where we started. And from there, we went to the managing element, and then we started automating our own business. And we put all together into software, and we spoke to a few other people. It made sense to a lot more other people. May that be a mid-size or a small size or a big size company who's already using different software. They're like, yep, I'm paying for this XYZ. I don't want to name the product, but an XYZ product like Buildium or Yardi, etc., using it, but they're paying a huge premium, but probably using 10% of what that software can offer them. And when they talk about it and we show the use case for them, they were like, 100% it makes sense, and that's a no-brainer for them. So they started switching over from them. That's when we really understood there's a market opportunity here, and we understand that's a product fit for sure. And we definitely started talking to people all over Canada right now. So right now we have customers in Alberta, East Coast, and also BC as well, Saskatchewan, and then Ontario for sure. We've been here as well. So that's where we are, and we're definitely talking to a few great people, bigger portfolios in US, which is up and running right now.
Awesome. So what are some of the capabilities, for example, that the software allows somebody that has a, let's say a portfolio of 100 doors? What capabilities does it have?
The first thing I would say is the two things that separate us from anything else is the white labeling part. Like we make it custom branded as if how you want to be communicating with your customers or your tenants or your renters. That's one thing, the white label part. And second part is the customizability. Like I said, every business is unique, and we're not a software development company who makes custom software for every single person. But what we do is that we create a general software, and we should be able to plug and play based on how the business requirement is. That's where the real key play comes in, where people find it. Like maybe 70% of it makes sense to them, but the rest 30% they don't probably need it. So they don't need to have a lot of empty space which they don't use it and they don't understand. So that part, and even for you guys, you have a very unique business model compared to any other conventional renting model. So the way you, Aisha, or Liam uses it is very different from the rest of the people. And we're still able to manage over 2,000 to 3,000 properties at this, 2,500 properties at this point in different portfolio with different ranges as well. So that's where it comes in. And even for a smaller business who is looking to grow, I would say somewhere in the 30 to 35 business, we come in because they want to be out, the competition is high up there and they want to look professional. So they should be able to use us to put the branding out there. When they go to investors to acquire a new property, they should be able to show how efficiently they are working, how professionally they're doing at the end of the month. They should be able to send a report of what's happening in the property. These are the things that they should be talking professionally to the investors so they can help them to grow the business faster. That's where we kind of come in. So someone who have figured out the business works great. Someone who's trying to figure out a business, they can use us too. And I also have a company who's just starting out, who has a portfolio of 9 companies, who's a property management company. But I can see that those are smart guys. And the reason that we decided to work is that I can see how well they want to grow and how systematic they are, and young folks. And it was like, yep, let's work with it. Let's make it work for you. I'll definitely come in and help you with my expertise of what I've done in property management. And they have a strong vision, and that's where we're kind of helping them to grow.
So, okay, so that's interesting. So basically you can create so if I was a company or I was a business or I owned a bunch of properties, however I want it managed, I mean, I'm sure you have templates, you're saying it could be essentially customized for that person.
Yes. So let's put it this way. So may that be you have some properties in your Airbnb, some properties in a long-term rental, some properties, let's say you have in a room rental model, or in a duplex, triplex, where you have multiple models there.
Yeah.
And the way you calculate the NOI for each properties might be different because the renting model is different. But as an overall, you should be able to understand what's happening to business. So that's why I say the customizability comes in. We have people who are heavily involved in a room rental model as well that we're working with. You have a mid to long-term rental model where your turnover is very different, where some of them are very conventional about, they're at least a year or plus. And the vacancy rate and all these things are very different from how things for you or for a room rental model. So that's where the customizable I'm talking about.
Yeah, to be surprised, I actually don't know how you guys are making money, because like for us, like as an example, like we've made it super custom, right? And I think this is why it made sense to work with you, because we didn't really fit in any other type of current setup. So we've had many calls over, I think 2-3 months, and we're launching the platform this week. It looks great. I just saw it last week. But how do you guys make money? Because you've super customized it, and I will tell you, it seems very affordable.
I can tell you 2 things. The one thing is, we were very mindful about, we're not building a custom software only for you, because then you could get dragged sideways in a different way. We're also making sure when you're putting a request, does that apply to someone who is in your business?
So you've got it created, and then if someone's like, I want something that can do this, you've already got the tech, or however you put it, the coding. to be able to easily add it for them. Is that what you're saying?
Directly, indirectly, you're also helping us because you were giving us a model that which is out there. It is a real business that you're doing out there. So if we have 10 other different midterm rental properties or a similar or hybrid version of yours, then we will not be doing a rework of this entire work. We're actually basically copy pasting of that. And that's where, and I think every business when you start always need to have a base. And that base is what we've initiated. So your question makes sense. Like we did a lot of things great for you. And I'm glad that I hear from you that you feel it's great. But exactly, that's right. And we have a subscription model. And the whole idea is for a business size of yours, or who's in a growing stage, they shouldn't be paying for a huge subscription without even using the actual requirement of those things. That's where we come in. And that's why I think people, when we talk about them, it makes sense to them.
Yeah, because you know who, so like somebody like Hostfully, like they keep calling me, right? And I'm like, and I was telling him, I'm like, no, you know what? We actually ended up getting like a custom company, or like a company that made this custom for us. And right now I think we have 150 properties on our platform. And I told them, you know, what I was paying, and they're like, oh yeah, we definitely can't touch that. But like, because a lot of them will have a price per month per property for the management
per unit,
while you're building it up front. But that, you know, and I know there's a lot of heavy lifting, but I guess at some point where you make money is when you're not having to make as many changes because you've built out the program, and then it's just a monthly continuous piece, which I think we would pay anyways with Hostfully or Hospitality or Hospitable, I think it is, and a few other ones, because we had looked into that. And the more properties you have, the more, you know, I guess the better price point you get, but it's definitely still costly.
It's definitely your price per unit capita is gonna go down, but you're gonna be getting into a different tier. That's possible. Let's say you get into a 300 plus unit, then you probably have another per tier to be purchased. That's somewhere that comes in, but then still as an overall, when you look at your per unit capita will be going under $100 for sure.
Yeah, under $1 versus I think it's like between, I don't know, off the top of my head, depends on the companies, between 9 and 20 per property per month, right? So it makes a big difference as you're scaling and as you're getting more. And you could do it with, like you said, with short-term, mid-term, student rentals, room rentals, long-term, international, like basically any type of property.
Any type of property. And then in terms of having room rentals or short terms, or we also have things where you should be able to control what's happening inside the property through the platform as well. Let's say you have 5 different people living in different rooms. They're not talking to each other. Things like small things, as an investor, you would know for sure. Taking out a garbage. It's a very simple task, but that's something which is very could cause serious problems with property. Like if the garbage is not taken out of a particular week, and then next week it overflows, the neighbors complain, city comes in, different issues, and I've seen that happen in the past. So things like that out of our operations is that, you know, those things which the homeowner or the investor need to manually do a lot of things, those things that we have automated, so that they can focus on continuing on either their full-time job or continuing buying a new property, etc. This will go through, and they will have a good idea about what's happening in their property. And we kind of gamified the things inside the property so that it's not really redundant or a lot of tasks for the renters itself to do it on a daily basis. So that's where the unique part comes in.
And I think you can add, correct me if I'm wrong, like Liam, our director of ops, is much closer to the stuff, but we're adding a contract. So we're adding our contract. So you can add a lease if you want to add a lease to the back end, get electronic signatures. You can actually get payments. I think you're set up through Stripe, but there's a few other ones. So you can do payment processing. Like you essentially can create your own platform, and it doesn't have to cost thousands. It really doesn't. So it's just a matter of, you know, looking at and seeing what the needs are. Because there's different needs depending on the type of property that you have, and then there's different lease agreements, but like it's just a better way to just get organized when you're still small, but you don't want to be paying, you know, $29 or whatever it is per property per month just to get some automation. And I think you're you know, again, I haven't worked with every single system. I've tested a few of them, but I think your capabilities are more because you can actually customize based on the needs.
Yeah, but I think it's a good point that you mentioned about the pricing part too. Like for you, it's credit card payments would work. Some people is heavily on interact payments from the tenants, and when you have, let's say, $100 or plus, you're basically getting at least 100 payments plus based on how your payments are. We automate interact payments for people based on the requirement. It's not required for you, but it's required for different business. So we do that. We have rent reporting system if people want to do it. That means if as people pay their rents get reported, and then they build credit as we speak. Rent guarantee program, which we partner with single key. If required, it's already up there. We didn't have to rebuild the wheel. It's already out there. All we have to do is make a platform which people have accessible to everything. Like you said, you're also using ours to have your marketplace side very active. So in overall, what I'm trying to get to say is that we're not just trying to build a property management software. The idea is to create an ecosystem where the rental property, wherever your requirement is, you should be able to use it from all the way from finding tenants to managing and maintaining the entire process is what we're trying to do. That's the vision that we want to get to.
Very cool. And the other thing I like is that you can put it on the person's website, right? So like you're helping us with putting it on our midterm site. So it's not like they have to go to a separate site altogether.
No,
you can embed it in there, right?
100%. That's the white labeling part where it should be coming as an extension of your own branding. We just are going to be the backend provider for thing. Ideally, you're not doing anything. We're the ones who are doing everything, although you're giving the inputs. But then it should look like as your own custom branded software, where that gives branding wise for your own company and also for your renters, etc. And understanding that we're working with a legit company and not someone who's trying to rip off money out of us.
Yeah, no, that's good. So what's the next step for Haletale? Like what's what are some of your goals? Because you're also an entrepreneur and a business owner and you wear many hats, right? So what are some of the goals that you have for the company?
Definitely growth. It's like we initially, our first focus was rather than growing quite out loud, we wanted to build a basic product which makes sense and adds value to people. That's where the phase we are. So right now we're definitely in a growth phase right now. We're improving our sales. We have got some fundings from people. So sooner or later, we'll be looking for some fundings for faster growth. And that's going to be there. And then we're also starting to work with a lot of real estate investment groups and coaching groups, which is another way of wrapping the same product because we're not doing anything different there. Essentially, like I have a group in the US where there's a group which kind of helps people to invest in different, like how you do it, for example. And those are all fresh off the boat people, where this group will be able to offer a custom branded software to those people who are trying to start out and teach them to start in a very systematic way rather than starting crappy. So that's a new way of getting out in the market and getting with different people and different use cases as well. That's where we are, and definitely, like I said, I'm trying to create that ecosystem to get maximum number of people to know about it and find the value. And every single people that we work with is a learning. It's a whole learning curve for us. And my whole idea is that you learn, stable, and grow, so that you don't have to think about pivot. Yeah, your base is strong, then you don't have to think about pivot, because pivot it's real, but I try to avoid that as much as so that I've done that in the past, and I don't want to make that mistake of what I've learned so far again. So that's the whole goal right now.
All right, very cool. I'm thinking that you can probably get a big chunk of the market share of all the other management software companies out there that are costing thousands of dollars to create, or $20 per property per month. So you've definitely, but even paralegals, right? Paralegals have a database that they probably need something on. Property managers, investors. I mean, like you said, coaches. There's so many applications because it really can, be created. Where can somebody find out more information on those capabilities?
So definitely, first thing will be our website, haletale.com. We're also very active in social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter as well. And I myself try to be in as many events of small business or business events, tech events there as well. But haletale.com or Anash Parayal, which is my LinkedIn. I'll be active on LinkedIn most of the time. So any questions or anything that I can help, may that be through Haletale or not through Haletale, anything that I can come in and help to grow your business, I'll be happy to help. It's always a pleasure to work with people and understand what journey that I've been going through and I've been through. So if something which I'm familiar with, always happy to help and help people grow. And some of the things that I'm also doing is, like I said, I'm trying to get my foot in the water for commercial real estate. So one of the things that I'm doing right now is talking to a lot of people and learning. And while I do that, I realize that if I can learn at the same time I can teach someone else, that'd be great too. So
Mhm.
I thought the inspiration from you, I would say, like I thought maybe having a podcast, maybe not for the listeners, but if at least one person listen to what I want to say or what I learned, and he or she's in the same phase as mine, and he understands, then that's a win-win for me. That's a value for me. So I'm trying to set up a podcast, actively talking. That also gives me motivation to talk to more people, because then I'm talking to people in different market in different ways. So
Mhm.
that's something which I'm working on, a side project for personally for me. So that's going on as well. But
Very cool.
speaking to you, or being part of the event is a great inspiration as well. Like, I don't know if you remember, me and you, we met at the last Collision conference last year. That's the first time we met, and Allison was there with you, and then she was talking about your podcast and your activities in real estate. And that night when I came back from the event, I was like looking up Sarah Larby, and I saw like how it's like, I want to be associated with you, or be part of your network, etc. And obviously when you Google search, your videos comes up because you have podcasts running for thing. I was like, I definitely want to be part of that event or podcast, or I want to be part of your ecosystem. But months down, look what we're doing right now. So when I said
It is
initially,
funny.
pleasure to be here, I definitely meant it.
That's funny. And you know what? We saw Haletale at one of the I think it was the Entrepreneur Small Business Summit.
Small business, yeah.
Yeah. And then and I was telling Aisha, I'm like, we have a technology problem. Like, we really need to get better on the tech. And you guys were there. And like, it was like, and I don't know if I just don't remember like the whole Collision thing, or like, but we pieced it together because I think the timing made sense as we were like building the midterm business, and we needed to really fix our technology piece. And it was a no-brainer. And then, and then the Ripen thing, I mean, that's gold.
Yeah, that was a small business event. I still remember that was the time where I was on the stage making a presentation on this, and I saw you walk by, and I was like, I cannot get up to jump off the stage right now because I'm in the middle of something. And my partner was there in the booth, but you went straight there. And then I came back and I was like, yeah, we spoke to her, and it's gonna be good. So I was like, perfect.
That's just funny how that works out, because we were specifically looking for that day, and then I think it was Roshan, he was like showing all the capabilities. I'm like, oh my god, that's what we need. And I'm like, we're like, can you make this? And he's like, yeah, anything. I'm like, okay, we gotta talk. And then the pricing is just like insane. I was expecting it like to be like thousands of dollars, and I'm not gonna say, I'm assuming I'm grandfathered in because we probably started working with you like early on, but it's very reasonable.
I mean, we can still upgrade your subscription to $1,000 if you wish to. No worries.
No, it's all good. But it's no, I'll tell you, it's actually shocking. And I get how you're gonna make money. It's going to be in the long run as like with the monthly stuff, but there's a lot of heavy lifting in the beginning, just like any company, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, I think so. Value is what I look for first thing. If there's value and there's a business coming out of it, I think it would eventually make money for sure. If not, it's just that's just my policy that I kind of follow and like to follow that. So, and glad to hear that you're finding the value that I'm looking to sell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I was sold when I was like looking at all the capabilities, and then we're like, can you do this? Yeah, sure. And then we're seeing it, and it's like, anyway, so we're launching. I don't think it took too long, but we wanted to just get everything onboarded. I know Liam like updating all the properties, putting them on the platform, like that was us on our end, just because it takes time. But everything that I
can talk about a real use case. So like I was someone who was looking for a property in Burlington. I was sending your initial link to them, and in the mobile, it was kind of a bit of hard work to find the property or search, etc. And then last week I sent her another link again with our things that is like, but this makes a lot more sense, and it's so easy to find which property and what property is about. So that's right there is a customer testimonial for you saying that it makes sense to because you have a lot of properties there, and people need to. So and it's a great service, to be honest, I would say. And that's why I talk about you guys almost. This morning I spoke to someone from Africa, and I was talking about your services to them. It's like, you should just check it out. He was looking for a house in Peterborough, and you had a property in Peterborough right there. And it's like, you should check out them. It's great for you, and you might be reaching out, but then having that visibility, I think, elevates any business, and that's the key element that we eventually want to go through with.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody listening to this right now that has a side business, real estate related business. I think if you have like maybe 1 or 2 properties, it may not make sense. But I think once you have like 5 or more, this makes sense to, to really
That's
work on
exactly
this.
why we get people to use the software for free if they have under 2 properties. Because ideally, what we want them is they want to use this, and then they should be understand the value that how structured they can go, and we want them to grow to 3+ or 4+ or 5+ property. So if you're having under 2 properties, you're free to go sign up in haletale.com, and you should be able to use the entire software for free. Obviously, it's not going to be custom branded, but then anywhere you're getting into a portfolio size of 20+ or 30, that's when you want to look into your custom branding style. But until then, you have very even flexible planning or subscription starting from up to $30 per month. So
Nice.
someone who's in a small scale too, we definitely help them out in, because they might be coming in for a specific requirement for either accounting or managing the renters, etc. For them, it doesn't make sense to pay huge money. They should be focusing on how they can fast to scale the business.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anash. Really appreciate you coming on the show. And guys, check out haletale.com. But check out Midterm Rental Properties as well. By the time this airs, we should have our back end. And again, there's always going to be little things that we want to tweak and fix along the way, but it is looking really good. I'm super excited. And we've got 150 properties there. We're trying to get it to 5,000 and the following year 10,000. And like when I look at it, like, a platform like Airbnb from a short-term standpoint has 7 million listings. VRBO has 2 million. So I don't think 5,000, 10,000 is unrealistic. We want to be that platform for midterm, globally. So that's where we're striving for. And that's why we needed, Anash and Roshan for helping us really create that platform that we want. But, if you're a long-term renter or not renter, but long-term property manager or student rentals, there's definitely going to be some good applications, different applications, and feel free to reach out to Anash. So Anash, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure having you on. And Anash also comes out to our investor and entrepreneur event. So if you want to meet him in person, check out midtermrentalproperties.com, go to events, and come out to one of our networking events. And Anash and his team is a regular attendee as well, and partner there. So you can definitely get to ask him more questions about what your needs are.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me again, Sarah, and pleasure having a chat with you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks so much for listening to Where Should I Invest with your host, Sarah Larby. Make sure to listen in next time. We'll catch you on the next episode of Where Should I Invest?